Hello Trekkies. Today we're going to talk about the final episode of Star Trek Discovery, episode 15, Will You Take My Hand? Well, as a season finale, I think this episode was a brilliant one. I watched it on the big screen, just as I watched the first episode, and I think it was really inevitable to actually watch the last episode in the big screen. So the episode itself was really interesting. I really enjoyed certain bits of it, and the one thing that I kept wondering on while I was watching it, I get this feeling that I mentioned in the previous episode, like we are getting towards the light, getting towards this positive side of Star Trek and Star Trek Discovery. So we're getting to this universe that we got to know from the previous iteration from Star Trek. So it was really interesting to actually discover that aspect of this last episode, and having all the conflicts between the Klingons and the Federation, and having this evil plan that we got to know from Burnham, like, okay, actually Giorgio acts for in the behalf of the Starfleet admirals, like Admiral Cornwall. That just made me feel like, wow, this is Starfleet, this is really what we become. And that actually Burnham pointed out really well in this episode, like, hey, this is not who we are. We have to stop this, and we have to remind ourselves we are basically a Federation, we are Starfleet, and we are explorers, not here to make genocide in a different species. Because just because they're military and our military and their diplomacy is not in the same way, we should not destroy innocent people. I think the episode really touched on this aspect of current political situations and how the problems can actually be solved in a different way. So it was really interesting to see actually how Burnham come up with this different sort of idea. Okay, we are Starfleet, give us another chance, give us a different way of dealing with this war. I think it was really amazing point when they gave L'Rell this state of, okay, you have to give up being in the shadow and show yourself and show strength and unite the Klingons and unite the houses, and you know, just be the leader of the Klingon Empire. And because they need a leader, because the Klingon Empire has been without a leader for 9+ months, ever since Cole got, killed in the sarcophagus ship. So it was kind of cool to see this aspect of the show as well. So the Klingons united, they stopped the war with the Federation. It was really a hopeful and a really good end and close-up wrap for this first chapter. And also I realized when I was watching the first episode with shown over Trek on the Tube, I felt the first episode was really good, really hopeful, really placed in that era of Star Trek that I really enjoyed and really loved. And this last episode basically came back to this feeling, came back to this ideology of Star Trek that I was missing from the episodes between this episode and the first episode. And I think it's really important to touch on the personal level and the personal statements and the personal journeys in this episode. So we got to see Burnham and Tyler saying goodbye to each other, and basically Tyler/Rock reuniting with L'Rell and helping her rebuilding the Empire. Also, we got to see Amanda, and I was really happy seeing her in this episode as, hey, okay, I'm still here, I'm still your mother, and it was just such a nice touch to actually bring her back as well, such as Sarek. It was interesting in the previous episode when Burnham said, okay, actually saying goodbye to Sarek was different this time. It was like a closure. But in this episode we got to see actually Sarek coming back, and he was really proud of Burnham, and he was really proud of Michael. In terms of goodbyes, obviously there was a moment when we got to see Giorgio's character, the Emperor character. She walked out as well from the series, and it was really interesting, and it was a really nice way of saying to her from Burnham, like, hey, just behave and be good, because you don't want me to come after you. So it was like, okay, I'll still gonna keep an eye on you, because you're still, in a way belong to my heart. You're still close to my heart, even you're in an evil self of the woman who I looked up to. It was really nice to see at the end of the episode when actually we got to see Burnham getting her command state is back, so she was a full-fledged commander again. So the charges, I think, were dropped. We didn't really get into this in the episode, but it was really interesting to see she's getting back her state and still remaining the same person who she was, who she believed in. So it was a really interesting journey that got to the end when she got back her promotion. So it was a really touching scene, and it was really touching as well seeing Sarek giving this badge back to her. And in her final speech in the council room was really inspiring as well, and the lighting, as I said in the previous episode, the lighting was different in the previous episode too. In this episode was so bright, everything was so bright, and it was so nice to see this this hopeful level of Star Trek Discovery. Although I was a bit disappointed Till didn't get at least a lieutenant level, lieutenant promotion, just an ensign promotion. I mean, she did a lot in Discovery in the last couple of years, the last year basically. So she actually would have earned the state for lieutenant, not just an ensign, but she got promoted, and it's a really cool thing. And obviously Saru got a badge as well, so it was really cool to see all the main crew of the Discovery, you know, coming together, and they basically being celebrated as the heroes of the war. So it was really a touching scene. It was a really powerful, positive Star Trek-y moment that I was just like, wow, that was really cool. Obviously, at the end of the day, we have to talk about the big cameo, the end of the episode, the Enterprise. This is when it gets a bit complicated, because I loved the moment when the Enterprise just flew into the screen and just faced with Discovery. Although it happened everything in a sudden, because we got a distress call from the Enterprise, and basically Captain Pike was contacting the Discovery. I'm pretty sure we're gonna pick up the series in season 2, and we're gonna get to know what happened in with the Enterprise, and why is the Enterprise just sending a distress call, what's happening, what's going on. So there's a lot of questions that we can look forward to, and I'm really curious to see this universe, this crew of the Enterprise. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Spock, we're gonna see Captain Pike, but who gonna play Captain Pike and who gonna play Mr. Spock? So, and even the classic, the Cage phase of the Enterprise. So I'm really curious to see what's gonna happen there. Although one thing that I'm a tiny bit disappointed is the ship itself. Although this Enterprise looks 90% familiar and 90% similar to the Enterprise that we got to know from the original series, I do have to be honest, I like it. But at this point I would still have been much more hopeful to see and happy to see actually the classic Enterprise. But the Enterprise is an iconic ship, and if you change it even from a little bit, you're gonna get like crossed eyes and raised eyebrows from Trekkies, and I had none of those. I really loved how the Enterprise looked, although I know this is not the Enterprise that I loved and that I really love still this moment. This ship is an iconic ship, and the original Enterprise is an iconic ship, and this Enterprise, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see it in the Eagle Moss collection in the future, but this Enterprise, it's different. It's not the Enterprise that we got to know from the previous Star Trek series. But as I said, the explanation might be because CBS just don't really have the right to do what they want to do. So maybe they could have done more classic design, but those designs belongs to Desilu and Paramount, because they were the original creators of Star Trek, those Star Trek series. CBS just got the right for actually selling the stuff. In this way, I think it makes sense that nothing looks exactly the same that we got to know from the previous Star Trek shows, and why they had to make changes. In terms of story, the show got to the point when, okay, I feel there's Star Trek in presence. In terms of aesthetic, I still have like troubles and struggles, but I like it. I'm on board, I'm fully on board. And obviously I really want to know, what do you think about Star Trek Discovery, and what was your thought about the last episode? So please don't hold your thoughts back and just start commenting on the comment section below. I'm quite busy with work and everything, but I try to join the conversation, and I try to engage with all of you guys. So If I don't reply straight away, that's the reason for it, so do apologize in advance. So yes, I think that was a really good wrap up for the first season. Finally some hopeful moments in Star Trek Discovery that I'm really looking forward to actually get to Star Trek Discovery Season 2, and I hope we're gonna get more adventures, more discoveries, and more just the hopeful Trek that we got to know from the previous Star Trek series. That was it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and share the video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and you will get all the Trekkie videos every week. And until next time, live long and prosper.